What's up, guys? Coach Madden, official trainer, YouGoProBaseball.com, and I'm here with John Sintes, pro pitcher, and I made a video a few years ago about how to throw a cutter. Truth be told, my cutter's garbage, so I had to bring in the man who knows how to throw it, and his website is Cutter Nation. So there's nobody better to talk about the cutter, and that's what he's going to do today. Show us how to grip it, how to throw it, and how to get batters out with it. All right, so let's see the cutter.
Okay, all right, so everybody knows your four-seam fastball right here. We're trying to stay in the middle of the ball, okay? So the more I can keep the ball in the middle of the ball, the more I can keep my fingers in the middle of the ball right here, the better the ball is gonna spin off my hand. So what you can see right here is there's white space on the ball right here, okay? So I'm gonna use this line of my fingers to use this seam to line it up, okay? So that's what's gonna change the axis of the ball, but I'm still in the middle of it. As long as I'm in the middle of the ball's gonna do what I want. So I'm gonna be on top of it, and you can see now the white space has disappeared. So with me personally, the more this white space disappears, the more I have that awesome Brad Lidge cutter, right? Cutter slider that I taught. So the more I have white space as I go right here, the flatter the pitch goes. So not only am I throwing a cutter, I'm throwing a different plane cutter each time. So let's say I go cutter, cutter, cutter in a guy, but I might go flat cutter, angle cutter, straight down cutter. So I'm gonna throw different variations of pitches, which makes it a lot of fun for a catcher, but hitters hate it.
Right.
You know, hence the Cutter Nation. So when I get into it, when I have basically my basic cutter right here with a little bit of space, when I come through, I'm not gonna throw it like a fastball like everybody tells you. Because if I throw it like a fastball, stay behind it, the axis and the force that's gonna go into it, the ball's still gonna go straight. So this ball's gonna spin off axis, but there's no movement being created. Okay. So I'm gonna hold it like that, but it's gonna be a lot easier. I'm gonna tilt my wrist a little bit, and I'm gonna throw it like a football. So if I can throw it like a football and not pronate through the whole thing and keep this on the side, I'm gonna create what I call a drift car release. So the faster I throw this pitch like a fastball movement, the later it moves, okay? So now I can speed it up and slow it down with throttle. So when I let it go in as hard as I can, when I throw it, it's not gonna move as much as if I moved all the way to my Brad Lidge cutter, took a little bit off, but still tried to throw it fast, and then it's gonna die a little bit more.
So basically you have 6 variations of the cutter. You can change speeds 3 ways, or more really, and the grips 3 different ways.
Exactly.
Wow.
And then not only that, then I can play the differences with left-handed or right-handed. So now I can actually use a front door cutter, which is just starting to get a little more popular, which I've been living on down in Mexico for a long time, for a righty where I'll throw it off the hip and make it come in. But that'll be my flat cutter. And then let's say if I'm ahead in the count and I'm trying to get him to chase, you know, with 2 strikes, I'll throw the Brad Lidge slider cutter that's going to be moving more downward, so he's going to swing over it, maybe get a ground ball or strike him out.
Gotcha. And what is your philosophy on when you get to that 0-2? Obviously getting depth on the pitch is important, but what about, like, are there any things you try to do, like expanding the zone or throw it to a certain spot, or does it depend on the hitter?
Well, it just depends on the hitter, because you have a lot of guys. What I've really noticed over my career is a lot of guys start playing with depth in the box against me. So when you have guys that have a lot of movement, I have my ball, you know, I have umpires who tell me that it's hard to call this game against me, especially when I'm playing down in Sundays in Tijuana, because they don't know where it's going to move or what it's going to do. So I'll hit a perfect pitch for what I see, but the umpire didn't see the late movement or what it did, and he wasn't ready for it, so he just doesn't respond to it. So I have to really make sure that I'm trying to strike them out as a swing, because I may not get it as a call.
Gotcha. So basically you're trying to make it look like a strike and then go out of the strike zone.
Oh, 100%. I mean, we didn't talk about that in our podcast, but I believe that pitching is the art of not throwing strikes. You have to establish that you throw strikes, and then the rest of the game I'm not trying to throw strikes. I'm really trying to throw balls that look like strikes or look like something else, and then end up a strike if I need it to be, but then not.
Those balls don't get hit very hard.
Exactly. If I go out and try to strike out every batter I face, instead of pitching to contact, which I grew up on, I'm going to force a lot more weak contact and get my numbers to go up, and so I can advance my game in baseball.
So one other question I got for you is this pitch okay for younger players? And also, if it is, how can a younger guy implement this into his pitching arsenal?
I love this for younger guys, especially, you know, 8, 9, 10 coming up, because when you're throwing a breaking ball, the rotation of the wrist and the elbow as you're throwing it puts a lot of stress on the arm. But by throwing a football, a lot of kids here in America grow up throwing footballs. My wrist stays my hand stays on the side of the ball for a very long time, still creating the spin out of the hand that I want to get. So it's almost like a pre-curveball, a pre-slider, that the kid can still get a little bit of movement and still enjoy to throw the pitch in the game without putting a ton of stress on his arm.
If you guys liked this video, hop on over to John Sintes. On Instagram, it's jsintes34. Cutter Nation, check him out. He's got a YouTube channel as well. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe to You Go Pro, and then go check out some of these other videos we did together.